Hey everyone, Simon here with an update on a few cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Solana, and a couple of secret ones that I will talk about today. Um, I haven't made a lot of Bitcoin videos lately because, to be honest, my heart's kind of not been into it. It is work. It is a lot of work, and I've been focusing more on our Divine Love Masterclass, which I'm very excited about, and the compatibility work we're doing, helping match people with their ideal partner. But of course, this is the wealth part of it is also matching because I made a video a while back, the hidden secret of astrology, which is it's all about compatibility. And it's all about matching you with your correct investment, with your correct cryptocurrency. For some people, Bitcoin is not going to be a good investment because of their own individual karma and charts and so forth. I know this sounds crazy to someone going like, well, wait a minute, if Bitcoin goes up, won't everyone benefit? Right? Logically, it makes sense. But in the real world, we're proven wrong because Bitcoin goes up and some people know when to sell and they sell it. Some people don't, or some people lose their Bitcoin, or some people have all kinds of issues to where they're scammed out of their Bitcoin and whatnot. So just because a cryptocurrency or a stock or an investment or a partner is good for someone else doesn't mean it will be good for you. So the secret of what we do is to match you with your perfect portfolio. Now, again, do I do this for myself? No, I'm an ape, I'm a gorilla, I'm a Neanderthal, I'm a terrible investor, and you shouldn't listen to me giving investment advice, which this is not, by the way, because I'm not I'm not anything. I have a fiduciary mindset. Fiduciary means I want the best for you, but I'm not an investor, and this is not investment advice. This is just my astrological opinion. So you shouldn't listen to me from that point of view, but you should do as I say, not as I do, because I often ape into projects, including Bitcoin and other things, without really even looking, is it good for me? And so sometimes we have to ask the people upstairs for guidance. And to be honest, I often forget that too. So I'm a very bad example. Hari Om. Having said that, let's take a look at, well, since I have this page up, one of the things that I've been privileged to do is to pick a good date for a few projects. So one of those projects was this Genesis Go Shadow. And they only gave us about a week or a 2 day, 2 week, time span. So we did the best we could picking the chart for that project. And now this is public information. So the Genesis IDO is here. And you guys can judge this chart according to your own, you professionals, you amazing astrologers out there. So I had my reasons for picking this date. It's not perfect, by the way. Like there are some perfect, like a Shiba Inu has like literally a perfect chart, I think. Okay, not the perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, but there are a few tokens out there that have good charts. So I tried to replicate some of what those perfect charts look like. I did my best, and this is what we came up with. Now, as you'll see, this project is ruled by the planet Jupiter. This is the ruler of its ascendant. I'm sorry, I can't get the South Indian up, so you just have to bear with me. This is Sagittarius. And as soon as Jupiter got some dignity by moving into Pisces a few days ago, the price of this thing started rocketing back up. You can see it's up well over 100% in 7 days. And it's selling well. Now, this is the way to originally to get this token was to own one of these NFTs on the Solana blockchain. So what I've tried to do is we didn't have this deal in our CQA group, but what I've tried to do inspired by this is to bring other projects that we've also done the chart for to our CQA group. And one of those is CatPay. And so Genesis Shadow has already done pretty well. It particularly in a down time right now, but and I think it will continue to do so. So let me finish with this one first. So Jupiter is in Pisces. It'll be there for a year. It is going to be running Sun Jupiter starting May 18th. So I think I predicted May would be good, and it's already doing well even before. Sun Jupiter should be good. Sun is also exalted at the moment with Rahu in the 5th house. So good times. And you guys can do your own analysis. You can see this is public information. This is the IDO of the Genesis token. There are other charts that we have that we share in our Crypto Questions Answered group that haven't moved yet. And one of those is CatPay. And if we look at CatPay, I mean, it had a nice movement from the IDO, but it's only 3x now. It actually 10x'd from its IDO. It went up to 20. This was 2.0. Now it's back down to 6. So it's only at a 3x right now. So it's a good time to pick this thing up. You could see it went up to, here it says 15, but actually went up to 20. And so it's kind of just doing nothing right now. So I'm not going to show the chart, but I think this one, if you're patient, will surprise you. And this can do good things. And the good thing with these very, very tiny coins, I mean, this is number what on the list? Does it have a rating? I don't know. Oh, rank 2149, right? This number 2000. The good thing with these small ones is you don't need to own a lot, for it to potentially go up to make big gains. Again, I'm not saying this will. I'm not a financial advisor. I think this is more of a long-term, believe it or not, like a year and above kind of hold. So so I'm not saying get this and it's going to pump next week. Okay, just to be clear. Yeah. So what is my point? My point is the astrology often gives us a shortcut. I don't look at trading charts, Elliott wave, other waves, the 9 wave, the 13 wave, and all that stuff. There are people who are expert at that, and God bless them, they do their thing. It's all too intelligent for me. All I do is astrology. And you could say, well, why are you so dumb? If you just add, the charts, you'll get better. Probably. But the other flip side of that is I stay pure to what I do, which is I rely on the chart to show me what's going to happen. And you have that. So when I give that opinion, it's strictly astrological, right? I'm not also blending, oh, what I saw this influencer say, or in fact, when I do, I'm often wrong, or what this chart says. No, this is the only chart that I look at. And so in a way, that's kind of, you're getting a pure undistilled astrological opinion, regardless of what else is going on. So according to that, just to review, end of March saw a resurgence. I've been saying on Twitter and on here that the first 2 weeks of April will be down. And on Twitter and here also saying that the last 2 weeks of April will be up. Specifically, the last week or so of April. Okay. Now we've started, today is April 19th. So we're officially in the second part, and Bitcoin is starting to gain a little momentum. God bless the poor little thing. But, it's certainly not skyrocketing. It's not doing anything wild and jumping. And here's why. Because I was thinking, wait a minute, Jupiter going into Pisces, the sign of Bitcoin's moon, shouldn't that have just spiked Bitcoin right away? That's a good question, Simon. I'm glad you asked. Well, check this out. This is really cool. And this is a trick and a secret in Vedic astrology, is that a transiting planet will affect, in general, the entire house. But to affect the planets or points in a particular house, it has to be in the same nakshatra. I'll say it again. When a planet by transit is in a Rashi, it'll affect the entire Rashi. So yes, Bitcoin is coming up a little bit. It's having a nice little rebound, but it's not like fireworks, right? It's not fireworks yet or anything like that. Why? Because it's not in Uttara Bhadrapada. Jupiter by transit is at about 2 degrees right now, which is in Purva Bhadrapada. Don't have it. Sorry, it's in. Let's go to the Prashna. The Prashna. That's not the Prashna we want. So just trust me. Take my word on it. Jupiter right now in the sky as of April 19th hasn't entered the star containing Bitcoin's moon. It hasn't entered the star, even perhaps more significant to containing Bitcoin's yogi point. Now, it is auspicious that both of those are in the same star. So what is that secret date you need to circle on your calendar? It's the day Jupiter enters Uttara Bhadra, which is April 28th or 29th, depending on what part of this globe you're on. So April 28th, 29th, Jupiter enters that star. So I'm excited. Let's see what happens. Now, could it happen a day or two before? Of course. You start feeling, it's like, you know, when your girlfriend or boyfriend pulls up to the house and you see them, you get excited. They're not in the house yet, right? But you're still excited. So similarly, Jupiter, this could happen a few days before, a few days after, but let's be dramatic. To be dramatic, April 28th, circle it on your calendar, the date that will change crypto for a while, not forever. Why? Because Jupiter will transit Bitcoin's moon and yogi point for a while, and it's going to go back and forth. So this is good. So April 28th, then May looks very interesting, and the first part of June. So expecting some bullish action. Let's see what happens. I'm laying it all on the line here. By the way, there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, but I'm lazy. Like I said, my heart's not into doing charts and graphs and I guess I'm getting old and tired. Yes, there is an eclipse on the 30th. Pluto will be stationary. There'll be some other aspects going on. I don't care. I don't care about that stuff. I should care because in my book, Gambler's Dharma, during that 2-year period, I did all this work by hand, calculating everything about every single match, all the possible influences. I'm just tired of it. So people ask me, well, if you were winning, why did you quit? Because it's work. Because I'd rather do some other work. And so right now I'm just relying on this, Jupiter transiting this thing. It's going to have an effect. How much of an effect it has will depend on how much the other stuff around it balances or contraindicates it. And this is a tenet from Gambler's Dharma. Don't take any one technique and say, oh yeah, they're going to win. You have to factor in everything. It's like saying, oh, Messi's going to have a good game. Well, Messi can have a good game, but the team can still lose. You get it? So if you look at just one technique like what I'm doing now, and I'm saying Messi's going to have an amazing game, that doesn't mean Barcelona or Argentina are going to win, or whoever he's playing for now. I think he's still there. I don't know. when I got away from that, I got away from it. Interesting. My nose is itching. That's an nimitta. So my point is that, what is my point? I am giving you one technique. on which I'm basing a big fireworks starting April 28th. But depending on what else is going on in the sky, like what this eclipse is going to do, et cetera, that may heighten or dampen the expectations. So let's see what happens. We're all in this together. But I'm just being honest with you right now. That's all I'm basing this on. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. I did say we look at Solana, so let's go ahead and take a look at Solana's chart. Now, we don't know if Solana was born in San Francisco or in Geneva or whatever. So this is one of the problems with cryptocurrencies. And one of the problems is we don't have an accurate birth chart. So what I do, again, as a simple man, someone who likes things just kind of straightforward, I thought, well, what happened when Jupiter, because maybe this isn't the right the right chart. And even though Jupiter is going to transit Solana's sun here very soon, like it's April 19th, like starting tomorrow, basically. Is that going to be enough to pump? Well, hopefully. But what if this isn't the chart of Solana? Then we're basing our hopes on wrong information, right? Garbage in, garbage out. So a more general thing that I do is look at the sound. Solana. And where does So sit in the zodiac, in the Vedic zodiac? It sits between 23 degrees and 26 degrees roughly in Aquarius. So I thought, well, let's see what Jupiter was just here. So when Jupiter transited the So sound, that should have been good. So let's go ahead and take a look. So the day that Jupiter entered that between 23 degrees 20. So let me go back here a little bit. Let me go back to the future, the other future. Here we go. Now, if you don't know the exact location, you can look on your software and see here it says So. So if I go ahead one day, it changed to Da. So I'm going to go back to the day it entered the So sound. If you don't know what I'm talking about here, this is part of the Vedic astrology, is we include the alphabet in the zodiac so that somebody named Sophie, right, would also experience a nice Jupiterian transit. When? So if you're Sophie or Sohil or Sohit or, whatever your name is, if it starts with So, think about what happened to you starting when? Here it is. March 15th, Jupiter entered the So sound. And then 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, up to the 29th. So March 15th to the 29th, what was happening in your life? If your name is, Sophie, or starts with a So, it has to start with, not ending with, or has that somewhere in the middle. Or even if you're a city named Sophia or, Soho, was there something good happening in your city during this time? I'm kind of reaching here, but so let's take a look. March 15th to March 29th of this year, what was happening for Solana? Solana, mate. Yeah. All right, so let's take a look. Here's February, March 13, 14, 15th. March 15th of 2022, Solana, look at this, was 81 bucks. And it began this incredible climb. Look at this, March 15th to the 29th, up to 107. So that is a good 30, maybe 30%-ish gain right there. Now, look at this. It continued to rise until April 3rd, at which point it then capitulated. So, but we caught the start exactly March 15th, and it went on for 2 or 3 days afterwards. It was like, when your mom pushes you on your bike or your dad, and you're like, you're going. And at some point you realize, oh, they're not pushing me anymore, but you're still kind of going. Well, Jupiter kind of let go on the 29th. He let go here, but the momentum carried it up. Okay, So if that works, does it work for every token? I don't think so. And so you can't just say, okay, I'm going to follow wherever Jupiter goes and that token is going to go up. The reason Solana is affected by Jupiter is because it's ruled by Jupiter. Its ascendant and its sun, its soul, SOUL, as well as SOL, is in Pisces. It's in a Jupiter sign. And now that Jupiter is transiting here, hopefully Solana should do okay. I'm not predicting anything for it, but because they're always, again, this is one technique, they're always counterpoints to this stuff. And in fact, what is Solana running? It's running K2 Jupiter. Interesting, when it starts its Venus period, that'll be very interesting. Venus in the second house, aspected by another benefic. It's also the Ava Yogi, so there should be some incredible volatility in 2024, late 2024. But yeah, this thing will be around for a while, I think. So Solana, we're talking about a little period now of a transit by Jupiter. But anyhow, that's not my point. What else is going to go through the So sound? Well, let's take a look at this chart and let's go to right now. Just bear with me. This is for the astrologers out there. I'm sorry if I'm boring other folks. Here is a chart of the moment. And as you can see, Venus is in that same spot. So I'm going to go forward and you can see when Venus is going to enter the So sound. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Let's do this together. Let's go forward day by day and watch that point down there. Boom. Look at this. April 21st, Venus enters the So sound. And it's going to stay there for 3 days until April 24th. So this is a much shorter transit. So I'm literally making this 2 days in advance of this Sol transit. Now, is Venus going to pump it? This is the problem with this kind of astrology. Venus, as I mentioned, is the Ava Yogi for Solana. So not great, but it is a benefic. So let's see what happens. Venus transiting the So sound, but it should be interesting. April 20th through the 22nd or 3rd, whatever I just said. So this is another way that I do Jyotisha. Why? Because I'm lazy. Too lazy to go and find the correct chart, to go dig and do research. At this point in my life, I used to do it before. I've paid my dues. I've learned how to, write rhyming poetry, and now I'm just kind of writing free verse, although I'm not a fan of free verse. So that's what's going on with Solana. So some interesting things happening. Let's see what happens. Let's see if they create a bit of a boost that Jupiter over the sun should promise. But again, there are no guarantees in astrology. So that's Solana. We talked about Genesis, talked about Bitcoin, the date to circle, April 28th. If you have other thoughts or questions, I do have Ethereum's chart. I have not really looked at it. So maybe in the next one, I'll look at Ethereum. But Ethereum does what Bitcoin does. As it goes up, as Bitcoin goes up, so does Ethereum. So it's kind of, it's kind of not interesting, to be honest. Yeah, so that's it here. If you have any thoughts or comments or questions, do please put them below, and I'll be happy to take a look. Look at Ainu Lindale, one of the most beautiful creation epics by J.R.R. Tolkien, the music of the Ainur. Truly a world that exists in some plane, some loka. Just happens to be here on my desktop. Hari Om. All right, thank you everyone. We will see you in the next one, and look forward to either eating my words here, eating crow in about 10 days, or when after April 28th, let's say May 1st, or not. So we'll see what happens. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in the next one. Namaste.